Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Green Glow Gourmet. I'm your host, Roxanne, and for today's recipe, we will be making a healthy version of creamy potato salad. So this recipe was an inspiration from Kim Murphy. She's from Simply Plant-Based Kitchen. I'm going to show you what I used, and I'm going to take it in steps. So we'll first start with the sauce, which includes a half a cup of cooked beans, which I used Trader Joe's organic Great Northern beans. I did not cook these because they're already canned, so that made it easier. I used a quarter cup of raw cashews, which are not shown, but I did soak those in a bowl, and you can soak them overnight unless you have a very strong blender. I just soaked mine for a little bit, and then I'm going to use the NutriBullet blender. I also used 2 tablespoons of organic raw apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of Trader Joe's whole grain Dijon mustard, and then 1 clove of garlic, which I am using the Trader Joe's minced garlic, and then a quarter cup of water. And this is how you make the sauce. So I took all of those items and I just placed them in my NutriBullet. So we're going to blend it up and see how that goes. I usually use my Vitamix, but today I'm using the NutriBullet. Until it's at a pretty thick consistency. If it's too thick, you can always add water and blend again. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, that's not bad. I may want to make it a little thinner, but we'll see as we go along. And you can always taste it. Oh, it's good. You can really taste the Dijon mustard. So I'm going to place this to the side, and now we're going to start with the potato salad. I always talk about my Instant Pot. I love my Instant Pot, so I wanted to show you how easy it is to use, because sometimes people do not use an appliance because they're scared. They don't know how, and from the old days, if you heard about a pressure cooker, you heard horror stories that the pressure would just make the lid pop off. You'd have a mess. It was dangerous. You don't have to worry with the Instant Pot. The main thing, you can never cook in your Instant Pot without some type of liquid. So you always want at least 1 cup of liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking 1 cup of water and my Instant Pot, which it comes with this trivet. I'm going to put that on the bottom. This is my Instant Pot. So I put the trivet inside. I'm adding the water. This is so easy and quick to make your potatoes this way. Today we're going to use red skin potatoes. I've already rinsed them. I did not peel them, so that's even easier. And I'm just putting them all, it's 1 bag of red skin potatoes. So I'm just putting the whole bag in my Instant Pot. Then I plug it in. I put on the lid, and right now it shows that it's off. So I'm going to press the top button, which says pressure cook. And then if I wanted to manually adjust the time, there's a plus and minus. So you don't even have to worry about finding, what am I cooking? How long should it be? It was on 18. If I wanted it to go up or down, I would adjust it. 18 minutes is fine. It made 3 beeps to let me know that it's starting. So now it's going to begin to come to pressure. This can take about 5 minutes for it to come to pressure. Then it will start cooking for the 18 minutes. And then when it's complete, it will beep again. I let it cool. You can let it pressure release itself by just doing nothing and waiting a while. Or you can do the pressure release yourself, which is a button on the back that you just press. And then all the steam will come up. And once it stops, you can take off the lid. You're protected because you cannot open the lid while there is still pressure in that Instant Pot. So I'm going to show you the next step once the potatoes are done, how we make everything, how we mix it with the dressing, and we'll come back and I'll show you that. Okay, so the Instant Pot just beeped, so that means the potatoes are done. And like I said, you can either let it cool on its own, and after about an hour, always check to make sure that the pressure is all out by pushing the button in the back, because your lid's not going to open anyway. But just always make sure that all the pressure is out before you even try to open it by pressing that button and seeing if any steam releases. So I'm going to show you how to do that because it went off. I'm not going to let it release naturally. So there is a button on the back. It's just because I moved it. But this button here that you probably can't see, I'm just going to press it. You hold it down and you can see all the steam releasing. And I only have a cup of water in there, so it shouldn't take that long. The more liquid you have, the longer it could take. The other thing, if you are making something like a sauce, I always let it release naturally. I never do this because when it's releasing, that could splatter that sauce or whatever you're making all over your counter, and that could be very messy. So this is just water, so it's fine. And you can hear it starting to slow down. And while I waited for this, I did blend my dressing a little bit more because I wanted it smoother. And I did add a little water to make it thinner. But you can add as much or as little water as you like. Just add a little water at a time because you can't take away once it's added. You can always add, but you can't take away. So now you can see and you can hear that it's almost at the end. And you can test it by trying to open the lid to make sure that all the pressure has been released. And it's not opening. So that means it's not ready. So I'm going to keep holding it down until it is. And then the reason that the blender, they say a Vitamix, is just because it's so strong and powerful. But actually the NutriBullet worked well, and that's because I did soak my cashews. So that makes it easier for it to blend. Okay, now I believe it's ready. And yes, it opens right up. It turns, it's beeping, it's telling me the lid is open. This is very hot. So my potatoes are completely cooked. So what I'm going to do now, I did not cut them beforehand, but I am going to rinse them with cold water to make sure that it stops cooking. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice them and put them into a mixing bowl. And then I'm going to add with the potatoes, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. So that will be the 2.5 pounds of my red skin potatoes, 3 stalks of celery, which I wanted to show you. I have a few in here. This is a mini chopper. I love this. And all you do, I put my celery in. can see how fine it chops and dices. I actually want it a little smaller. And then you have your diced celery that I'm going to add into my potatoes, but I just wanted to show you this little gadget. I love it. Dice them. This is what it looks like. I had already diced some earlier for you. Then I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of dill pickle relish. I get the sweet pickle relish, of course, organic Trader Joe's. And then I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of red onion, which I already have measured here. A 1/4 cup of dill, which I'm using the dill weed. I'm going to sprinkle that in because I'm not using fresh dill. And then for the celery seed, it's going to be 1 teaspoon. So I'm going to cut the potatoes. I'm going to mix it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can serve it warm, but it's best to put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. I do it overnight, let it sit, and then it's ready the next day. And this potato salad is a great dish just if you are having some people over, or for yourself, or for a holiday party, Memorial Day. You can have it for that, and you have a healthier vegan option. You don't have to tell anybody it's vegan. Believe me, they will not know. They'll just think it's a delicious potato salad. So I'm going to show you what it looks like once it's all together. Okay, so I let the potatoes cool before I cut them, because if you let them cool when you cut them, it is a lot easier. And you can choose the size you want depending on the size of your potatoes and how big you want your chunks of potato in your potato salad. So I cut everything up. I had to use a very large mixing bowl. And then what I did was I mixed all of the other ingredients. I poured the dressing in. And then if you see any black spots as you're cutting your potato, just cut them out because you don't want that in your potato salad. And then this is the finished product. We are going to try a bite, even though it's warm. And I left the skin on, like I said, but if you want to take the skin off, you can. If you want to dice your potatoes before you cook them, you can. You can do it on the stove. You don't have to do it in an Instant Pot. I chose to do so. I find that it's easier just to do everything in the Instant Pot, throw the whole potatoes in, let it cool, and then that's fine. These are delicious. Please try these. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you changed the recipe in any way. The beans for your dressing, nobody would ever know this is beans and not mayo. The taste is delicious. Honestly, when I started this and I blended it, the Dijon mustard was so strong I was a little worried. But after I mixed it in with the rest of the ingredients, the dill, the celery seed, the pickle relish, and add as much or as little as you like. I love pickled relish, so I put a lot more in than the recipe called for. And just do it to taste, because remember, you can always add, you cannot take away. If you're interested in learning new recipes that are plant-based, or to add more plants into your diet, you can visit my website at www.greenglowcoaching.com. We can schedule a free call. If you have any questions, please comment below. I will answer all your questions. I come to you with a new recipe every week. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And here's to a healthier you. I'll see you next week.